The emerald was believed to foreshow future events, but we do not learn whether visions were actually seen in the stone, as they were in spheres of rock crystal or beryl, or whether the emerald endowed the wearer with a supernatural foreknowledge of what was to come. As a revealer of truth, this stone was an enemy of all enchantments and conjuration. Hence, it was greatly favored by magicians, who found all their arts of no avail if an emerald were in their vicinity when they began to weave their spells. To this supernatural power inherent in the stone, enabling it to quicken the prophetic faculty, may be added many other virtues. If anyone wished to strengthen his memory or to become an eloquent speaker, he was sure to attain his end by securing possession of a fine emerald. And not only the ambitious, but also those whose hearts had been smitten by the shafts from Cupid's bow found in this stone an invaluable auxiliary, for it revealed the truth or falsity of lovers' oaths. Strange to say, however, the emerald, although commonly assigned to Venus, was often regarded as an enemy of sexual passion. So sensitive was the stone believed to be in this respect that Albertus Magnus relates of King Bela of Hungary, who possessed an exceptionally valuable emerald set in a ring that, when he embraced his wife while wearing this ring on his finger, the stone broke into 3 parts. In rabbinical legend, it is related that 4 precious stones were given by God to King Solomon. One of these was the emerald. The possession of the 4 stones is said to have endowed the wise king with power over all creation. As these 4 stones probably typified the 4 cardinal points, and were very likely of red, blue, yellow, and green color, respectively, we might conjecture that the other 3 stones were the carbuncle, the lapis lazuli, and the topaz. After stating that the emerald sharpens the wits and quickens the intelligence, Cardano declares that it therefore made people more honest, for, quote, dishonesty is nothing but ignorance, stupidity, and ill nature, end quote. The same writer adds that the stone was believed to make men economical, and hence make them rich. But of this he was very skeptical, since the experience of others, as well as his own, showed that the emerald possessed very little power in this direction. A talismanic emerald, once the property of the Mughal emperors of Delhi, has recently been shown in Europe. The stone is a rich, deep green and weighs 78 carats. Around the edge, in Persian characters, runs the inscription, quote, "He who possesses this charm shall enjoy the special protection of God," end quote. Emerald sharpened the wits, conferred riches, and the power to predict future events. To evolve this latter virtue, it must be put under the tongue. It also strengthened the memory. The light-colored stones were esteemed the best, and legend told that they were brought from the nests of griffins. Gypsum. Gypsum, when fibrous, the fibers being long and straight, is known as satin spar. This material is frequently cut rounded, or en cabochon, across the fibers. Sometimes it is cut in the form of beads, or of pear-shaped drops, which are mounted in earrings, scarf pins, or necklaces. The material is frequently found in Russia, England, and elsewhere, and is cut in England or Russia. Some of the cut stones are mounted in brass or gilded brass and sold as luck stones in Niagara, the claim being made that the satin spar was taken from beneath the falls at great peril, as occasionally small deposits of this kind of gypsum are found under the falls. From time to time, small consignments of this material have been sent to Japan, as the Japanese value it possibly on account of its purity, or owing to the fact that it has the effect of the cat's eye. It is quite cheap, and at the same time very soft, so that it can be scratched with the fingernail. That found in Russia is of a golden yellow or salmon color, and is worked into various ornaments, the one popular form being egg-shaped, and because of their form, such objects are frequently given as Easter gifts. The same material is also known in Egypt and is cut in the same egg form, the ornaments being called pharaoh's eggs, although just which pharaoh this refers to is not stated. They are also believed to possess qualities of protection and to bring good fortune. Hematite. The virtues of the hematite were praised in an ancient gem treatise written by Ascanius of Babylon for Mithridates the Great, the king of Pontus, who died in 63 BC, a sovereign who was passionately fond of precious stones and possessed a splendid collection of them, both engraved and unengraved. Ascanius, as cited by Pliny, taught that human destinies were influenced by the virtues inherent in precious stones, and asserted that the hematite, when used as a talisman, procured for the wearer a favorable bearing of petitions addressed to kings and a fortunate issue of lawsuits and judgments. It is a red oxide of iron, which, when abraded, shows a red streak, whence the name hematite, from the Greek haima, blood. As an iron ore and hence associated with Mars, the god of war, this substance was also considered to be an invaluable help to the warrior on the field of battle if he rubbed his body with it. Probably, like the lodestone, it was believed to confer invulnerability. The high degree of skill possessed by the Pueblo workers is strikingly shown in a finely inlaid hematite cylinder found in Pueblo Bonito. The inlays are of turquoise and are designed to make the cylinder a conventional representation of a bird. The wings are indicated by turquoise inlays of pyramidal outline, curved so as to allow the curvature of the cylinder, the head being figured by a conical piece of turquoise attached to one end. This conical termination bore a small bird figure carved in relief. When we consider the difficulties the Indian workers had to overcome in the execution of this artistic task with the tools at their command, we can well realize that this object, probably an amulet, must have been considered very valuable and was most likely the property of someone of high rank in the tribe or community. Jacinth. The jacinth was more especially recommended as an amulet for travelers because of its reputed value as a protection against the plague and against wounds and injuries, the two classes of perils most feared by those who undertook long journeys. Moreover, this stone assured the wearer a cordial reception at any hostelry he visited. It was said to lose its brilliancy and grow pale and dull if the wearer or anyone in his immediate neighborhood became ill of the plague. In addition to these qualities, the jacinth augmented the riches of the owner and endowed him with prudence in the conduct of his affairs. Saint Hildegard, the abbess of Bingen, who died in 1179, gives the following details as to the proper use of the jacinth, the jacinth. If anyone is bewitched by phantoms or by magical spells, so that he has lost his wits, take a hot loaf of pure wheaten bread and cut the upper crust in the form of a cross, not, however, cutting it quite through, and then pass the stone along the cutting, reciting these words: "May God, who cast away all precious stones from the devil, cast away from thee, N, all phantoms and all magic spells, and free thee from the pain of this madness." The patient is then to eat of the bread. If, however, his stomach should be too feeble, unleavened bread may be used. All other solid food given to the sick person should be treated in the same manner. We are also told that if anyone has a pain in his heart, the pain will be relieved provided the sign of the cross be made over the heart while the above-mentioned words are recited. The wearer of a jacinth was believed to be proof against the lightning, and it was even asserted that wax that had been impressed by an image graven on this stone averted the lightning from one who bore the seal. That the stone really possessed this power was a matter of common report, it being confidently declared that in regions where many were struck by lightning, none who bore a jacinth were ever harmed. By a like miracle, it preserved the wearer from all danger of pestilence, even though he lived in an air charged with the disease. A third virtue was to induce sleep. Of this, Cardano states that he was in the habit of wearing rather a large jacinth, and had found that the stone, quote, seemed to dispose somewhat to sleep, but not much, end quote. He adds, in explanation of its slight efficacy, that his stone was not bright red, nor of the best sort, but of a golden hue, differing much from the best.